First at 4, new numbers on the coronavirus, an update from Mayor Duggan, and Dr. McGeorge answers your questions on bugs, gas pumps, and pets. Also, take a look at this. Sky 4 was over a police chase as the suspect drives over lawns to get away. We'll show you how this one ended. Good afternoon, Ben.
Karen, good afternoon. Why are there still sprinkles on 4 Live radar, and where is the sunshine? We will investigate right now. First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4 every day, we are all coping with this crisis together. Today, we have learned the state is reporting more than 9,300 cases. Now, that is up more than 2,800 from the beginning of the week. Also, we just learned 337 people have now lost their lives. Other items. Delta is offering free flights for medical volunteers going to assist in hard-hit areas. U.S. Customs and Border Protection is shooting down that rumor that medical professionals cannot get across. That is not true. The border is open for essential personnel, and they definitely qualify. Detroit's mayor says he is disturbed over speculation about why Detroit has become a so-called hot spot. He spoke with an expert who agrees the spread has nothing to do with poverty.
There is no evidence that the coronavirus checks your bank account before it jumps to you. There's no evidence that this spreads more quickly among the poor than the wealthy.
Mayor Duggan also says new rapid testing equipment has arrived, and Detroit will be the first city to use them. He expected them to be up and running in the next 24 hours. All across America on this Wednesday, a sobering estimate of how many Americans might die during this pandemic is still sinking in. Yesterday, the president's coronavirus task force put that number between 100 and 240,000 if we do everything we can to stop the spread. Devin Scillian joins us now with some new context from the U.S. Surgeon General. Yeah. Devin.
Well, Karen, we listened yesterday as the task force took us through the newest data and the newest projections. If we did nothing, millions could die. But even the best case scenario you mentioned has been rather startling. Right now, 3/4 of Americans, including Michiganders, are subject to stay-at-home orders. But several governors in the South and the West have declined to follow suit. Well, here's what the Surgeon General had to say about that.
Governors have tough choices to make. They have to decide whether or not they feel like their citizens will listen to them without a stay-at-home order. But again, the most important thing is to stay at home, stay 6 feet away from each other. That's how you slow the spread.
So far, the task force has not recommended stay-at-home orders in every state. Just today, Florida's governor bowed to pressure, says he will order a statewide stay-at-home order. The president and his team, meanwhile, focusing on 30 days to stop the spread, pushing that vigorous social distancing and regular hand washing. Surgeon General says those measures do work, but it takes time.
The good news is that states like Washington, like California, countries like Italy, when they leaned into aggressive mitigation, they're being able to flatten their curve, and we know that if you do this, that it usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks from the time you start to lean into it before you level it off.
Here in Michigan, Governor Whitmer's stay-at-home, stay-safe order went into effect on March 24th. If it's working, per the Surgeon General, we would hope to see some results perhaps around April 21st. Speaking of the governor, she'll be answering your questions about the pandemic during a live town hall meeting tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on Local 4 and Click on Detroit. We hope you'll join us. A really fascinating event that we have ready to go, Karen.
And Devin, this town hall is really an unprecedented effort. What can we expect to see?
It really is. This is a team effort with the other TV stations in town. I'll be joined by Huel Perkins and Carolyn Clifford as the governor and other leaders answer questions on every aspect of this pandemic, from hospital preparedness to unemployment benefits to school closures. We expect to learn more about what's ahead for schools tomorrow, and this is going to be broadcast available to everyone across the state of Michigan. Again, it's tomorrow night, live here on Local 4 at 7. Karen, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Devin. We'll see you at 5. Right now, we do have some breaking news from Wall Street as the markets close. Now, it seemed things had calmed down a bit, but today we're seeing another significant drop. Let's take a look. The big board right now, Dow Jones down some 973 points. Now, we do know you have a lot of questions about the coronavirus, especially as researchers are learning new information every single day. Our Dr. Frank McGeorge is here with the answers to 3 questions submitted through clickondetroit.com.
As the weather warms up, the bugs are coming back, and that has some viewers wondering if ticks and mosquitoes could spread the coronavirus. There is no evidence that insects can transmit the virus either through a bite or by landing on an infected surface and then flying somewhere else. However, mosquitoes and ticks can still spread other illnesses, so be sure you're using repellent to protect against those. Now, viewers are also asking if the virus can survive on a gas pump. The answer is yes. The latest studies suggest the coronavirus can remain potentially infectious on hard plastic surfaces for up to 3 days. Now, obviously, we still need to pump gas, so just be sure to use hand sanitizer immediately afterward. Now, several viewers are concerned about their pets and whether they can catch the coronavirus. First, there is no evidence that the virus can be transmitted from pets to people. However, there have been 2 dogs in Hong Kong and 1 cat in Belgium that have tested positive for the virus. Now, the dogs did not have symptoms, but the cat did. All 3 are thought to have been exposed through their owners. Now, scientists are still looking into those situations, and for now, the CDC actually recommends if you are diagnosed with COVID-19 or believe you have the illness, if possible, you should have someone else in your family care for your pets and avoid petting them or allowing them to lick your face until you've recovered. Back to you.
Right, some good advice. Thank you, Doc. City of Detroit adding more locations to its food distribution program. This is one of the locations at Adams Butzel Recreation Center. Food is available for families and seniors. The food distribution started after Michigan schools were closed. The city tells us they have given out 30,000 meals so far, and adding more distribution locations will allow them to give out 40,000 meals per week. First at 4, we're tracking some of the coronavirus stories that are making headlines around the world today. Government efforts in Kenya to stop the spread of the coronavirus have turned violent. Police fired tear gas to break up crowds that had gathered at a market in violation of government orders. Shoppers and sellers scattered to avoid tear gas fumes. The Kenyan government started a crackdown over the past weekend. It also enacted a curfew, and since then, 2 people have been killed in clashes with police. Health authorities in London found a convenient place to set up a large virus testing site, the parking lot of an IKEA store. With Britain's death toll reaching 2,000, the government is making a major effort to increase testing. Healthcare workers set up temporary structures in the store parking lot to create a drive-through testing site. The government is also responding to criticism from healthcare workers, trying to provide more personal protective equipment. Moving now to Sydney, Australia, where there is a testing clinic on one of the most popular beaches in the world. Doctors and nurses have put together a clinic on Bondi Beach after a cluster of infections was reported. Australia has plans for 100 pop-up clinics at COVID-19 hotspots across the country. The government wants to keep the infection rate under control as the number of confirmed cases has been on the decline there. All right, let's take a break from coronavirus and search for some sunshine. Doesn't that sound good? Well, if not today, pretty sure we will see it tomorrow. Let's bring in Ben Bailey and let us know what we can expect. Hi, Ben.
Karen, good to see you. And yes, tomorrow is the day we're looking for all that sun to reappear. Today, though, not only do we have the clouds in most spots, but we still got sprinkles showing up on 4 Live radar. Let's get to it, mostly in the south zone as we speak. And you can see those areas continuing to move to the south, just like the last couple days. They're not amounting to much. It's just going to be a 1/100th of an inch of rain at best, and most of us will stay dry. There will be some breaks in the clouds, but it's probably going to be closer to sunset for a lot of us. Temperatures falling into the low 40s by midnight, and we do have much warmer air on the way. Wait till you see the number of 60s in the 7-day forecast, Karen. That's all coming up.
That sure would be nice. Thank you, Ben. We'll see you in a little bit. Still ahead, it is not the most important problem during a pandemic, but hair care and nail appointments will be missed. So are you one of those people that are asking stylists to break the rules, the challenges they're facing, and a message to anxious clients? And look at that. You're probably not surprised alcohol sales took a big jump recently, but can you guess by how much? We'll have the answer in Trending Stories. Up first, a police chase that apparently hits speeds of more than 100 miles an hour as it veered through suburban Detroit. We've got the story after the break.